Get a cup, get a cup, get a cup. What is up, you guys? I'm Fresh Cut Slim, and this video is a little bit more of a serious video, I think, than what I normally would react to. And today I'm going to be reacting to, basically, there's a whole bunch of drama with Cody Ko. If you don't know Cody Ko, he's a huge YouTube, creator and podcaster, and he was a Viner originally, I believe. But yeah, I actually watch him, and I've been watching him for years. And this, from what I've heard regarding these allegations, it's quite, it's not good, okay? And, yeah, I don't know if I can continue really supporting him after this, but I don't know. I don't think he's responded to any of the allegations made in this, but, yeah, I'm going to be reacting to An Uncomfortable Conversation with Cody Ko by D'Angelo Wallace. So, yeah, with that being said, the original link's in the description. Let's begin.
Alright, Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor. But YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online,
So yeah, Tana Mojo is the person making these claims against Cody. And these claims allegedly happened, I believe, when she was like 17.
Mojo. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury the story than you. And you're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem. I can't blame any of your viewers or my viewers for not hearing about this because you've done such a good job hiding it up until now that I only found out about it recently.
Like, I did not know anything about this prior to this coming out recently. I don't think it was known by that many people prior to this event. Yeah, Tana Mojo fans probably knew about this, but I am not one of those fans. And I assume a large part of the internet as a whole isn't. So, like, we're not aware.
The situation has been talked about by smaller channels, it's been discussed at length on other platforms, and it keeps almost hitting the mainstream, like with this Rolling Stone article or this H3 podcast discussion. But the reason it hasn't caught on yet, despite all of this, is that none of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
The fact that H3 Productions would talk about this and it not be, them doing it, I don't know when they did it, but them exposing the situation, the fact that that in itself didn't bring more attention to it is kind of mind-boggling because they're a huge podcast.
A lot of people like him a lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I'm not here to
I like him a lot too, that's why it's kind of like, it's sad because whether I like someone or not, if they're still doing horrible things, I mean, they should be held accountable for it. Allegedly horrible. I gotta say allegedly because I believe these are just claims.
Accuse you of committing a crime in this video because I can't do that based on someone else's allegations. Nobody can definitively take these allegations as proof, but at the same time, they should still be looked at and not treated as an open secret and swept under the rug like you've been doing for so many years now. And from the way that
years. So this has been going on for a while, or at least these allegations have been made for a while. Why wouldn't you come out and say, hey, this is BS, this person's telling a lie or whatever? Why wouldn't you come out and say that? You know, if this has been going around for a while, addressing the situation only makes sense, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't make sense just like trying to bury it if it's not, if it didn't actually happen or a similar situation like that actually happened. Because like, if someone's going to accuse you of doing something and you didn't do it, you shouldn't be like, okay, I'm not going to talk about this. You should be like, I didn't do it.
The situation keeps popping up more and more often. It's clear that there's only so much rug sweeping you can do before people start taking a closer look at things. So let's take a closer look. We both know that Tana Mojo is a YouTube personality with a history of lies, controversy, and genuinely problematic behavior.
She hasn't done a lot of horrible things recently, at least that I know of. But I remember when like TanaCon went down, that was a disaster. Was that back in like 2017, 2018?
It's become so entangled with her brand that her podcast is called Cancelled with Tana Mojo. And speaking of this podcast, about a month ago, she hosted a live episode in front of an audience, and the conversation turned to you.
Who's the smallest you've ever had sex with?
Oh my God, no one look at me, Cody Ko. I can say that. I was literally 17, I can say that.
This clip starts.
I was literally 17, I can say that. I don't know what your age has to do with you being able to say that or not, but I guess there she alleges that she was underage, and she alleges that Cody has a small wiener. Would it be funny if he makes a video like addressing the situation, but the only part he's addressing is the small wiener accusations. He never actually talked about the issue. He just talked about these allegations are not true. My wiener's huge, bud. My wiener's huge.
Started making the rounds, and people were understandably perturbed because if Tana Mongeau was 17, you would have been 25. So people started speculating, and Tana decided to set the record straight.
I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you, and you went ahead anyway.
That's not looking so good, is it? 17 to 25, that's a crazy freaking age difference. If you're 17 and 18, then yeah, it's still technically, I guess depending on what state you're living in, but that's still technically illegal. But 17 to 25 is such a huge age difference. And if someone actually told you not to do that and you still went ahead and did it, knowingly, I don't know what to say. That just does not look good, if that's true.
There's a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that Tana Mongeau is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Nothing would...
I wonder what the, not age of consent, but you know, if some crime is committed, that there is a certain amount of time that the victim has to like do something about it. Otherwise, if a certain amount of time passes, then it like they can't be prosecuted for it. I wonder if that time has passed, because in that case, yeah, I guess Cody still wouldn't want to talk about the situation. Even if he can't be prosecuted, that still just doesn't look good.
Make this situation better, but plenty of things make it worse, like the fact that she was a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like I was just like excited and a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like I would kill.
I would never let it fly.
These recent...
Yeah, that's, I don't even know what to say. It just doesn't look good. If that's accurate, if it's true, it's a crime, regardless of the age. I know some people, I've heard some people say, oh, well, it's like they're, you know, she's so close to 18, but that close is nothing. Right? I've heard there's some stupid joke, like someone's like 15 and people were saying, oh, well, 15 was pretty much 16 and 16 is close enough to 17 and 17 is practically 18. So there was no issue, but you know, that's just like the justification of the issue, and it doesn't actually make it okay. It's still illegal, especially as like a 25-year-old. If this actually happened, you should have known better. Even if you had the fame at the time and the fame's all gotten to your head or whatever, that's still like, you know, it's still an inexcusable action.
Allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making this same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up.
She was 17 at the time, 18. What does that mean? 17 or 18? What does that mean? 17 at the time, 18? What is she saying 18 about?
With other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Ko.
But what lends the most credibility to Tana's claims, and what is really the most damning thing?
So how have people known about this for that long and nothing's ever, you know, I guess, yeah, it must have been pushed under the rug or something. I don't know. If someone was friggin' making that claim and it's not true, you should address it. Like, hey, this is not true, especially someone with such notoriety, you know, and if it's not true, it doesn't make sense just kind of not talking about it.
For you, Cody, is a clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something, and I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. The original has been lost to time, and it's a wonder we have this on video at all. But if there was anything to give me any more clarity about these allegations before I formed my opinion, I was going to find it. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
That's not good. That is like, you know, a witness to the issue. Because if she was just saying it and there was no one actual there to back it up, then people could just say, oh, she's lying or she's making it up or whatever. But when you have two people corroborating, is that the right word? You know, the story, then that brings a lot of validity to it.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like,
why is this clip so bad quality? What year was this filmed in?
Like, hey man, you probably don't know. I know she like looks a little older. She's underage. Watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is real.
So it sounds real. It sounds real. If you were warned not to do something and you clearly know that you shouldn't be doing it, and then you even said to the person who warned you, oh, you know, like, I forget what she said, but it's like, oh, thanks for telling me or whatever. But then you still went ahead and did the action? Like, that's pretty inexcusable. It's one thing if you think someone's 18 and they say they're 18 and then it turns out that they lied. That's, you know, one thing, but it's a whole other, I'm not saying that's okay? But it's a whole other issue when you know that the person's underage and you were warned not to sleep with them, and then you still did it. That's a whole other, like, side of morals that have been broken to do that.
Really, really bad. People make accusations all the time. Specifically,
like, I get the boys be horny sometimes, but that's not an excuse.
Regarding things that are very difficult to prove or disprove, unfortunate as that may be. But when somebody makes an allegation and they say they have a witness, and that witness can be found telling the exact same story years before any of this came out, that's not something I can just ignore. In a situation,
yeah, no, it sounds like it may have happened, but it is, I guess, still all alleged. Even though that there is like a witness, it's still all alleged.
Situation that cannot be proven. Corroboration by a third party goes a long way, and frankly, Cody, the allegations against you seem to have been corroborated. But instead of researching to find these answers like I did, many of your fans seem far more interested in attacking your accuser.
I have seen so many comments, but what was she wearing?
It's Tana, so who cares?
Well, it's Tana Mojo.
The reaction to this has been unsurprising but incredibly disappointing, demanding proof that they know she can't provide, acting like she's only doing this to gain clout or ruin you somehow, despite the fact that she's never once put your name in a video title over this. Or worse.
Now, I know Tana Mojo has a pretty, like, rough history, I guess, and, you know, she's definitely kind of put herself into the Boy Who Cried Wolf situation with her past and the things that she's done, where it's built up a bad reputation for her credibility, so I get that. But when she's, you know, been saying this for so long, for years, as well as that there's someone else to back up the story, it kind of makes me believe that, you know, she may be telling the truth.
First of all, implying that a 17-year-old could have truly consented to any of this. But let's be clear about one thing. That is not the case. No amount of retroactive age calculations or what-if scenarios change the fact that what Tana described would be, objectively speaking, a crime. A crime which you've said absolutely nothing about. And even if this wasn't illegal, you remember being 25. You would have known then, as I currently know at age 25, that nobody this age should need an explanation for why a 17-year-old is off limits.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, you know, earlier. You're at 25, you're aware of what you're doing. I'm dripping sweat right now. Oh my gosh, I hate living here. I think I have to cut like air vents in this or something. I'm sweating in this. This is ridiculous. As I was saying, at the age of 25, you're aware of what you're doing. So it's not an excuse.
Because you remember being 17 too. Now, thankfully, Tana's personal experience with this isn't one of trauma. In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying, Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care? But that's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
And even if something isn't consciously internalized as an identifiable source of trauma, the body keeps the score.
I know things manifest in ways other than me directly feeling them. Like maybe I don't feel traumatized in certain aspects from certain things, and other things I do. But, you know, maybe they just manifest in ways other than directly feeling.
Yeah, that's true. You know, you may not be consciously aware of something, but subconsciously, you know, if you have some kind of damage from that, subconsciously there may be something, and that will appear in your life in different areas. probably want to go to therapy for that.
The answer to why any of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen in years. She's been dismissed, discredited, and disbelieved before anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people like don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
And you, Cody, are part of the reason she's been met with this reaction. Your status as one of YouTube's golden boys has made it possible for you to ignore a situation that almost anyone else would have had to respond to by now.
Maybe that's why he hasn't responded. See, if it was just Tana saying this without any other proof or any other witnesses or anything like that, I could see why, you know, people would be more inclined not to believe her because of her past. And I know that certain people have claimed certain allegations against other people and have ruined their lives, and it came out later that those allegations were actually false. That so-and-so claimed so-and-so of what happened to Cody, you know, and those turned out to be false, but the person was like persecuted and everything for it. So there has to be a balance of, you don't want to believe everything everyone says because a lot of people lie, but at the same time you should look at these situations and, you know, go into the details to find out if what they're saying is actually true. If you were in the situation where you were statutory, you know, you have to go to the hospital and get a one of those kits that I believe that basically proves that you were assaulted or taken advantage of. But, and you know, in this case, that didn't happen, but there is at least a witness to back up her claims, and that makes them more believable. Man, it is so freaking hot. I'm gonna have to end this video soon. I can't, the heat's too horrible.
I know for a fact if you swapped out Cody Ko with someone that like people didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
I find your silence on the situation to be uncomfortable because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option. Since
I guess that makes sense, because as I was saying, you know, if they aren't true, why would you just not say anything? How are you going to let someone say crap about you that's a lie for years and never address it, right? That doesn't make sense. It only makes sense. The only situation that in that, you know, that case where it makes sense is if something actually happened and you don't want to talk about it because then it brings more eyes to the situation, or you can't, you know, say that they're lying because, you know, Tana has Gabby Hanna to back up her claim. So I guess that makes sense why you would never want to say anything, because then it would just kind of expose you.
Telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness. And like I told you at the beginning, I'm not accusing you of committing a crime, but even if what Tana says is false, your silence is still grossly incompetent at best. Why are you choosing the path that would be your only option if you were guilty? Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up, and maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny, the victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's coming from your audience in the name of defending you against allegations that you're too cowardly to address. And to be clear, this is cowardice.
I would say that Cody has, you know, should say something regarding the situation. I don't think he has said anything as of this moment. And yeah, like the people just blaming her, that's not good. And especially with the amount of proof that she has, because, you know, as I said, I've seen cases where so-and-so will blame another person of doing such a crime, and then it comes out years later or whatever that the crime never happened. And then the person, you know, they essentially ruined this other individual's life over the lie, and they never get punished. So I can see why there's some mistrust, but when, you know, there's so much, when there's evidence to back up Tana's claims.
Because you demonstrate it whenever there's controversy afoot. Tana's further claims make it sound like you're terrified.
I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said, yeah. And like, he was like, my wedding's coming up.
You do have a history of making bad choices when you're terrified of people finding things out, like your history of using slurs. There's more clips than that, but the reason
Well, at least it wasn't the ER, the hard ER. Why would he record that of him just saying the N-word?
The reason most people are blissfully unaware of them is because you posted your vague apology not on Twitter, not on YouTube, but on Patreon, despite acknowledging in your apology that the clips were surfacing on Twitter.
What? So you paywalled your apology. Hey guys, I made an apology, to some horrible things that have been alleged. Subscribe to my Patreon and watch it. Pay me $5 and you can watch it. That doesn't look good either. I guess that's a way to keep it out of the general public's eye. That your only true fans are people, who are, really dedicated to you, are the ones paying you, and so they would be more likely to forgive such incidents because they're such big fans. I don't know.
This is one of many examples of your poor handling of controversy. Not many people know that you've already lost fans over an eerily similar topic. You used to frequently feature and promote your college friend Colby Leachman in your videos, until it came out that during your school days, Leachman's university put him on probation for, as a United States District Judge would later put it, the non-consensual videotaping of a sex act with another student, showing the video to other people, lying to the police about the video, and behaving horribly to that individual and at least one other woman. To make
What? This is after, that event happened with his friend, and then they still stayed friends, and then he was, featured in videos until it came out? Is that that sounds like that's what happened? I don't know if I could stay friends with someone if I found out that they were, that such a thing happened. I don't know if I could stay friends with someone like that.
Matters worse, the woman in the video also alleged that Leachman drugged her before the recording and that she hadn't actually consented to anything at all.
Was he, persecuted for this? That's freaking crazy.
You had this man in your videos. You were telling us to follow him on Instagram, and at some point you did wise up, so he's no longer part of your content, but he still seems like he's very much a part of your friend group. From the continued hangout since then to inviting him to your wedding just last year, people are under the impression that you're best friends with someone who, at best, committed an illegal sex act and at worst is an alleged rapist. And
yeah, that's not a good look either. Now, I know people can change. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I know people can change. And if the the friend went to jail or whatever, was persecuted and did their time, they obviously it doesn't make it right, but they did pay the price for their actions, and maybe they have changed. I don't know if that's what happened. I can't say that's what happened. I do not know anything about the situation, but I'm saying that people can change. And I don't know if that's what happened.
And no matter how many times people rediscover this information over the years, you refuse to say anything at all. You could clarify this, but you won't. But now your cowardice has reached a new low. You've tried speaking, and you've tried silence, and now you're choosing censorship. On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube.
I assume that's gonna change, at least him not making a video about the situation. I assume that's going to change now, considering this video that I'm reacting to here is 2.2 million views. That's insane. This video brought this so much into the public eye. How could you not say anything? Unless he just retires and quits YouTube and that's it, and never addresses the situation and moves on, which I doubt that would be the situation.
And this video is all the proof you need that there's still plenty to discuss, even without making definitive statements. The general public may not know about the situation, but I promise you, anyone who's online enough to run a YouTube channel does.
The amount...
Lies. Lies, lies, lies. I've ran a YouTube channel for a little bit now, and I have not heard of this until this video came out. You have to understand, a lot of YouTubers and individuals are in their own bubbles of the internet, where you're not involved in everyone's life. I myself may only watch 3 or 4 or 5 YouTube creators and that's it. And, I'm not focused on, oh, what's Tana Mojo doing today? Oh, what's Jake Paul doing today? Oh, what's Logan Paul doing today? Oh, I need to know this. I need to know. No, that's not the majority of individuals. Majority of people are in their small little bubble. of channels that they watch and the content that they make, and that's it. So that is I don't agree with that.
Amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him and are like talking to me in a way where it's like they, you know what I mean? Like, or even just friends like, but I love him.
The community silence on.
Yeah, like I like Cody Ko too, and I've been watching him for years. And it sucks to see that this has happened. Whether it happened or not, you know, it looks like it did, but these are still alleged, and he was not persecuted or charged or anything. But it sucks because I like Cody Ko a lot, but it's also, no matter if I like the person, it's not excusable to their actions. Anyway, I'm gonna probably end the video here. I think we've got the gist of it. I am sweating under this mask. I gotta take this off. I gotta take this off. I gotta stop. But yeah, anyway, that's basically, I believe, the gist of the video. It looks like, at least to me, it looks like what Tana's saying is the truth, because she has a witness to back it up, and who has backed it up years ago in a podcast, unrelated to the current events right now, where this is all coming out. So that in itself kind of is like, that makes me believe that, okay, something definitely happened. It doesn't make sense why he hasn't addressed it for years, because if it never happened, like, how are you going to go allow people to be saying this about you, you know, to your name, and never like, hey, this isn't true. Never come out and say, hey, this isn't true. This never happened. This is my side of what happened. Now, how are you not going to ever do that? Unless if you were to do that, then maybe, you know, there's Gabby Hanna, you know, there's people that can come and say, well, actually, I did see, or I did tell you that not to do this, or, you know, I don't know. Anyway, that's it for this video. It was a little bit more controversial, I think, than a lot of the other videos I react to, but, you know, I gotta switch it up. I don't want to just be pigeonholed, if that's the term, into, you know, certain categories that I react to or whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think. See you guys next time.